Now, we're going to go ahead and get started. In this presentation, we're going to talk about the pineal gland, right? We're actually going to talk about the third eye, and we're going to get into actually how to decalcify your pineal gland. What's the purpose of the pineal gland, the third eye, whatever you want to call it, and how to actually use this to actually become aware of the spiritual realm, right? And how to use intuition and all sorts of stuff like that. So, really excited. Let me actually share my screen. Let's see. Let's see. How do I share my screen? All right. All right. So I'm sharing. This is going to be a quick video presentation, right? For the recording and for the live both. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? All right. So how to decalcify your pineal gland, right? It's really simple. It's really simple, guys. There's certain foods that you eat that calcify your pineal gland, right? So what does it actually mean? Imagine that your third eye is like it's like a magnifying glass. And calcification is like there's being dust on it, dirt. You can't really see, right? Or it's like a flashlight not having the batteries, right? And you're going outside at night, you can't actually see because the flashlight, right, don't have batteries at the end of the day, right? So how to decalcify your pineal gland at the end of the day? First thing you're going to do is you're going to fast, right? You're going to water fast. Water fasting activates the third eye chakra. Water fasting, helps you see the unseen realm. It helps you actually, go out there and perceive of the spiritual senses. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to go outside and you're going to sun gaze, right? So what do I mean by that? You're going to let the sun fill up your cup, which is your third eye, right? The sun is going to enter light into your pineal gland, right? So you need to realize that your pineal gland it has the ability to perceive of things. The sun is like the source that will actually go ahead and charge up that pine cone in your third eye. That's what it actually does. So you're gonna want to sun gaze. You're gonna want to drink water, lots of water. If you can do fasting, even intermittent fasting, 16 hours a day, 12 hour, 16-hour water fast, 12-hour water fast. You get the effects even after 12 to 16 hours. If you can go longer, a day, 2, 3 days, that's going to be good. Being outside. Number three is, just going outside in nature. A lot of times when we are inside and we're scrolling on our phone and there's everything's a mess and there's like a lot of times we get distracted by the outside world. So a lot of times going into nature, you can actually perceive of the energy and information that's within yourself, right? Because there's no distractions on the outside, right? Number four, how to decalcify your pineal gland is you're just going to meditate, right? You're going to use your third eye. How do you train your muscles? By going to the gym, right? How do you train your habits? It's by doing them, right? So how do you actually, what's the point of decalcifying your pineal gland? It's so you can use it, right? It's so you can actually use it. Why do you want to use it? Because you want to have your intuition to be clear, right? Pineal gland is the seat of your soul. It's a magnifying glass in your brain that can read energy and perceive spiritual information, right? Some people will call this a third eye chakra, right? Third eye chakra, awareness, intuition, right? You can see things that others cannot see, right? Or that others have not become aware of. But everyone can become aware of this. Everyone, oh, I just got a call. Hold on. All right. All right. So, yeah. How did you calcify pineal gland, third eye? Sun gazing. Number one is sun gazing. Two is meditation. Three is fasting. Four is going to be, it's kind of like meditation, just sitting still and doing nothing and closing your eye and watch how the lens will open up, right? Because you really got to become aware that you can see things, but it's already there. It's in your field if you can perceive of it, right? But you got to be inside yourself. You got to go inside yourself. You become aware of what's inside you, right? Which is inside your third eye. There's a whole different world, right? I say the third eye is the portal to the spiritual realm. It's the portal to your soul, right? Their third eye can see anything you want, and the access code is frequency, right? You can see whatever you want. See, in the third dimension, you can only see physical reality, right? All you can see is the books you're right in front of you, your laptop, your TV, your notebooks, whatever, but for you to see for you to use your third eye, what you can do is actually realize that there's a whole nother realm, within this one. It's even deeper than the other realm. And so, how do you access that point? Frequency, right? Can you sit down? Meditation is the art of absorbing yourself fully into the present moment. So, what does that mean? Can you sit in presence and surrender to a frequency? Can you sit in presence and surrender to one thought, right? Can you only allow yourself to think one thought? Or can you let go of all thought completely, right? Because it's like some people call it the astral realm, some people call it the lucid dream realm, the meditation realm, whatever it is. But understand that you start to see things, right? Some people say, "Oh, is this just your imagination?" It is your imagination. Everything is your imagination, right? The phone we're using started off in someone's imagination. The seat you're sitting in started in someone's imagination. Before everything that exists in physical reality already existed before in the spiritual realm. It already existed in the spiritual realm the whole time. And so, what was an invention of the phone and of the light bulb and of anything other than someone tapping into another dimension, receiving the idea, and following through on the idea until completion, right? So, oh, Jesus. Some people love to wait, hold on. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. All right. So number five, I already did five, was number six or whatever number we're on, is gonna be affirmation, right? Because a lot of times what's blocking you from perceiving something is your own beliefs, right? And that's what I say. And sometimes, like, for what they say in John 3:16, right? John 3:16, for all he who believes will see, right? Or whatever the quote is, you have to believe to see, right? Or at the very least, you have to let go of the belief that you can't see to actually see, because you can already see. But if you're telling yourself a story that you can't see it, then it's going to be true, right? That's how magical your thoughts are. Be careful what you think, because it might just happen, right? So you want to think about what you want to happen, and you want to really let your imagination come. You really want to let your imagination, become part of this experience. Decalcifying your pineal gland is going to open you up. It's going to open you up to intuition, to possibilities, to information, right? That you can, actually get access to. So really exciting stuff. How to decalcify your pineal gland is going to be it's the seat of your soul, right? It's the magnifying glass in your brain that can read energy and perceive spiritual information, right? That's the third eye chakra, right? What does it look like? You want to use affirmations. You want to use affirmations, and when you use the affirmations, you want to let your third eye show you the way, right? Because you will see the way. The way has already been created. The how has already been created. Because your third eye, if you look at it, it's like the omnipresent bird's eye version of you. Some people will call it the higher self, right? Whatever. Your higher self has access to everything, has access to your past lives, your parallel lives, your future selves. Anything you can imagine, you have access to within yourself. But to get access to it, you have to become nothing, right? To get access to anything, you have to become nothing, right? Because when you let go of everything you're thinking, you can then begin to receive thought, right? Knowing the difference between thinking thought and receiving thought, right? That's a concept I actually read in the book, The Teachings of Abraham by Jerry Nestor Hicks, Asked Me as a Given, right? Where, she meets her spirit guide, meditates 15 minutes a day, and receives spiritual information from the meditation, right? So knowing the difference between thinking thoughts and receiving thoughts, that's really the difference. When you're thinking, your rational, logical mind, right? What you got to do is you got to start receiving thoughts, right? Receiving information from the infinite intelligence. Some people call it the ether. Greg Braden calls it the divine matrix, right? Whatever it is, Bob Proctor calls it the law of vibration. People call it different things, but it's basically the same thing. Some people call it God. Some people pray to God. Some people do affirmations. Some people call it magic. Whatever it is, it's the same thing, really, with different labels. It's virtually the same thing. It's called creation, right? Creating your reality has a lot to do with your third eye. Third eye is realizing that everything already exists, but you only experience what you're aware of and focus on, right? So you have to become aware of something for you to focus on it, and you got to focus on it to create it. And it already existed before you became aware of it, but you just weren't on the frequency, or you didn't have the vocabulary term to even label it in your own mind. And so when you became aware of something, you labeled it, it became the frequency which allowed you to experience it, right? So the pineal gland, somehow you found this video, right? How to decalcify or watching this live is the pineal glands, right? The pineal glands, the third eye, right? The seat of your soul, the intuition. And this is, you put it on, you look at the dollar bill, right? Third eye, it's on the dollar bill. It's really on the back of the dollar bill. There's an all-seeing eye on the dollar bill, right? There's an all-seeing eye, omnipresence. Bird eye, what does that actually mean? Omnipresence. Bird eye, the all-seeing eye. The eye of Horus, whatever you want to call it, right? The eye, the third eye, right? The third eye is it's already existed. Soul time, it's one of the chakras, right? And so on and so forth. Really, really amazing, right? Really, really amazing. Some people call it the sixth sense, right? The sixth sense, right? Whatever it is. It helps you perceive spiritual information, right? That already existed before you became aware of it. But it already, and the deeper part of you already knows, right? The deeper part of you already knows. You don't have to figure it out. It's already who you are, and you're just receiving from that source. The source already is you. The real you is that source of intelligence, which you get access to by surrendering your mind, right? It's like if you imagine that, meditation is basically like realizing your mind is like a dirty carpet. Okay, there's all kinds of dirt, the dog tracked in mud, whatever it is, there's snow on the ground, snow on the ground, you tracked it in with your boots, and it's really dirty. It's like the carpet's not very clean. Okay, how do you clean the carpet? You got to vacuum. Okay, so meditation is vacuuming your mind of all the thoughts, of all the residue, of everything you just watched, you just listened to, whatever, and that stuff will help perceive it. But it helps you get to this point where your mind is clean. Your mind will be completely clear, and when you clear out your mind, guess what happens, guys? When you clear your mind, you're now able to perceive clearly of what you're receiving from the spiritual realm, which comes down to divine truth, divine presence, divine guidance, right? And then from there, guess what? You're in a spiritual game. At that point on, when you put the goggles in like that, when you put the third eye goggles on, now you have this responsibility, right? You have this responsibility because you can see things that others cannot see. You can do things that maybe others do not know they can do. And, you have this spiritual, wisdom, right? Of just this inner sense of knowingness, right? So another way to, also receive divine guidance, not necessarily the pineal gland, but is to release, right? Because you really got to release. You really got to let go and surrender, right? Really surrendering. And one of my favorite meditation teachers, one of the best meditation teachers I've actually ever even learned from, Dr. Joe Dispenza, right? Dr. Joe Dispenza, I've been studying this guy for 4 or 5 years now. I've been doing his meditations, a lot of times morning and night, for the most part, almost every day, like literally almost every day, probably 80-90%, at the minimum days in the last 4 or 5 years. I have done Joe Dispenza's meditations. And this guy, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about, becoming no name, right? Becoming no name, no face, no body, right? Forgetting that you're in a body, forgetting you have a face, forgetting you have a name. And when you get to that point, that's when the magic happens, right? But most times, if you're having trouble with meditation or receiving intuition from the spiritual realm, you're just not sitting there long enough, right? Because you have to get to that point past where you think you can go. David Goggins is one of my favorite, workout, cardio mentors, whatever it is. He talks about the 40% rule. The 40% rule is, when you're 40% there, when you think you're done, you're only 40% there. Apply this rule into meditation, guys. I've had meditations that were 5 minutes, there were 15 minutes, there were an hour. I've had meditations that were 2 hours. And from my experience, the deeper you go, the better it actually gets, right? The deeper you go, the better it gets. And when you get to the point where you don't even want to end the meditation, that's where the magic happens, right? If you can get there, and it doesn't happen every time, but it can happen most of the time. It can happen some of the time. It can happen at least for the first time. For you is, get to the point where you're sitting there long enough and just realizing you're connecting with your own spirit. That's really all you're doing. You're allowing your spirit to come into your body. Your spirit's already there, but you might be in your head. You might be distracted. Things are happening in life, the kids, the bills, the pets, the whatever it is, might be distracting you from connecting with your own spirit. So realize your spirit's already in there. So you're just connecting with it, right? And so you feel that feeling and let it come into you. Let it come into your body, because that spirit, which is you, is already inside you, and that's going to give you the information. The information's already you. You already are the information, because understand that everything's energy, right? Energy right? Energy doesn't lie. Energy has the information, right? So realize that you have the information inside you already. You're just surrendering to what's already there. It's already there. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about no name, no face, no body. Let go of who you think you are. When you're really into those meditations, let go of, almost sometimes you want to like receive something. You want to like get something from it. And that sometimes that's on the surface level of thought. You can get that, but usually the deeper you go, the better. Right? The deeper you go, the better. And you really, and on the other side of it is realizing your higher self, right? Your higher self is on the other side of every ego death you have is your higher self on the other side of it. And so if you're ever afraid to sit there, and I know it can kind of be scary to sit there with your own thoughts and sit there with everything you feel, you might cry, you might, be afraid, you might scream, like something might come up. And it's not always pretty, depending upon who you are, where you are, what you're going through. Like there's healing meditations, right? There's divine guidance meditations. One thing we talk about meditation secrets, right? 2.0 about to come out is, divine guidance, right? Receiving divine guidance from the higher source of intelligence within yourself, right? And so for you to receive the divine guidance within you, right? First, you got to release, right? Whatever's blocking it from coming through, right? Because you really get to this point when you want to get to this point where you're following spirit, right? You're following that path that you're going down. And so really be willing to face it, right? And this is not for, this is scary for a lot of people to do, but you can do it. You can face everything that's there, face everything and rise, right? And go within yourself and feel everything you got to feel. Feel it all, release it all. And when you're there, that's when you're going to receive the information because it's already there, right? Pineal gland is going to help you see. Pineal gland is connected with what's called clairvoyance, right? Clairvoyance meaning seeing the unseen, clear seeing, right? You're seeing images into your third eye, right? And so, one thing some people do channeled writing, some people do channeled art, right? Channeled music, channeled videos, and you're seeing it, right? And you're you're channeling things, right? And there's other times, you want to journal, right? So it's a good practice to meditate, have a meditation journal, meditation journal. We got a meditation journal coming out as well. Meditation journal, so you can track the progress, right? So you want to track the progress. It's something that can really help you, spiritual awareness, right? Because spirituality, it's not a trend, it's not a topic, it's really a lifestyle. It's really just becomes a part of who you are. Is you're just becoming self-aware. Spiritual awakening is becoming aware of yourself. Meditation is to become familiar with your thoughts, with your habits, with your beliefs, these types of things. That's what Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about. One thing I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza is that meditation is becoming familiar with. By the way, Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you guys don't know, right? Dr. Joe Dispenza, he discovered one of the ways he discovered his teachings was. Hold on one second. One of the ways he discovered his teachings was, he actually got hit by a bus. He was doing a triathlon. He was riding a bike and he got hit by a bus or hit by a car, whatever it was. And he actually was paralyzed. He was paralyzed. And because of him being paralyzed, he learned this skill and the power of his mind. And he actually recreated his spinal cord structure in his own mind with his own thoughts. And he healed himself. They're like, you're never going to walk again, whatever this. And he just created it in his own mind by using his imagination. And it shows the power. He's also in the documentary, What the Bleep Do You Know, where he scientifically proves that your thoughts affect matter, right? Because it showed there's this scientific X-ray, whatever it was, and you could see that whatever you think, it actually affects reality itself outside of you. When you think about, there's the rice experiment, there's three cups of rice. One of them was neutral. One of them was, I love you. You said, I love you into the rice. The other one said, I hate you into the rice. And you can see after 30 days how the rice changed. The rice actually changed, and it physically changed from just words and thoughts alone. Right. So it's really magical to see, how we actually are connected to the spiritual realm and we are connected to everything outside of ourselves, right? Because everything is one. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up, this webinar, this video. What is your pineal gland? How to decalcify your pineal gland? How to tap into the third eye, how to tap into the meditation, meditation secrets 2.0, spiritual awakening stuff. Check out Dr. Joe Dispenza as well. Guys, and hope you have a great rest of your night. See you on the next one.